Then he calls me to come in there. And I'm like, yeah, what do you need? He's in the tub and he's poking something. And he's like, boo-boo. And I said, I know this little boy ain't just shit in the tub. I know he ain't just do that. I know he ain't just do that. Welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Jazz. If you're new, what's up? I'm Jazz. Thank you for coming. And if you're old, thank you for coming back. Give me a virtual pound real quick. Let's just get into this story. So when I was going through a phase of not being able to find like a stable job, I came across this babysitting job. I've babysat before, like when I was younger, but I feel like once you've babysat before, you know exactly how to do it. So went in for the interview, killed it, crushed it, cool. So this particular couple, they lived in a house. They had two sons. They had one that was under a year, and then they had this other son. He was like maybe 8 years old, but he also had Down syndrome. The mom and the dad were very hands-on with the older son. He liked things a certain way. He had a certain schedule, a routine. They gave me basically a schedule of when they eat, what time he gets off the bus, because he also went to school. And so during the day, if it wasn't the weekend, I would just watch the little boy. But then once like 3 o'clock, he would get off the bus and then he would come home. It started off okay, but when his parents were there, the older one would listen. And of course, you know, the one that's under one, he's just a baby, so you know he's gonna do his own little thing. But he really wasn't a problem. As soon as his parents left, he started acting up. I had to get him dressed one morning. He would start jumping on his bed. I would be like, hey little boy, get down. And not only that, but he was a bigger little boy. Trying to pull this little boy down off the bed and trying to get him to, you know, focus. He was heavy. Like he was, that wasn't happening. So basically I just had to like say, hey, you won't be able to watch TV if, you know, you don't da-da-da-da. And, you know, it just took a couple times for him to do what I asked him to do. So it's like, I had to keep repeating myself. So we go outside, you know, it's summertime. There's some kids like a couple houses down playing basketball. And they're a little bit older than him, but he had a basketball. So he was playing in his yard, playing with the basketball. But he ended up making the basketball go all the way over where the other little boys were. So we go and get the ball, and I'm just like, well, come back. And he's not coming back. Now all the other little kids, they stop their game. They all looking at him. Now they're looking at me. I'm looking at him, looking at them. And I'm just like, then I go to get him. He grabs onto the basketball pole like this. And I'm like, okay, let's go. And I'm trying to pull him. He literally has his arms wrapped around there like this. So I'm like trying to pull him by his hips. Remember, he's heavy. It's not working. So I'm like, I'm going to call your dad. He immediately gets off. And then we go back in the house because like, that's enough. Then his parents come home a little bit later. You know, I told them about the incident and, you know, they were just like, you know, he'll get better. You know, once he gets used to you, he'll start to listen. Yeah, all right. This job is tougher than I thought. So I think they realized that. So the next time that I went over there, his older cousin was there basically to like give me a hand. Cool. So I get their food going. They're eating breakfast. Everything is going good with the cousin there. You know, if he didn't listen and she heard me like repeating myself like, hey little boy, she's like, hey, you need to listen. And then he'll finally listen. So it's time to put him in the bath, okay? I'm running the water, put the little toys in the tub, everything's good. I tell him, time to get in the tub. He goes and gets in the tub, right? So I go out for a minute or whatever, and then he calls me to come in there. And I'm like, yeah, what do you need? He's in the tub, and he's poking something. And he's like, boo-boo, boo-boo. And he's poking something. And I said, I know this little boy ain't just shit in the tub. I know he ain't just do that. I know he ain't just do that. I go over to the tub. It's a floating doo-doo just in the tub with his toys. And he's poking the doo-doo like this with his finger in the tub. Like, boo-boo, boo-boo. I said, oh, no, we don't do that. I'm grossed out. I'm so angry with this little boy because I feel like he did that on purpose. Like he wanted me to clean up his shit. Like he knew, like, oh, you gonna give me rules And she's like, why would you poop in the tub? You don't do that. Da, da, da. So I bet you he did that on purpose. Just by her reaction, he don't do that all the time. He did that just for me. And so she's like, oh, don't worry. I'll get him out the tub. I'll clean it up. And I was like, all right, cool. I wasn't about to help with that. Because at this point, I was pretty much done. I was like, you know what? This probably isn't the job for me. So I probably shouldn't even worry about trying to do too much more. I helped her get him in bed. I was blown for the rest of the night. His parents came home, I let them know everything. And they were like, oh, but he just need to have time to get used to you, but he'll be okay. And then his dad pulled me to the side and was just like, if you keep having problems out of him, all you gotta do is take the belt and do that, or hit it on your back and make noise, and that will scare him and he will listen. And I said, oh, okay. I'll make sure to keep that in mind next time. And so I was definitely going to keep that in mind because I had to go there the very next day. And I was contemplating on just quitting. But I was like, you know what? We're gonna try to hold this out for a whole week, see how far we get, right? This day, I was taking them on an outing. So we were going to the bowling alley. That morning, of course, the little one, he's fine. He's so easy. He just needs his milk and his little food. He just chills. He doesn't do too much. This other one, he was wanting 10 different things for breakfast. I tried to tell him sit down and eat. He wouldn't sit down and eat. He knocked his food over. I'm just like, this little boy is trying my patience. So you know what I did? Went upstairs, got that thick brown belt, and I said, Fwah! He sat down and ate that food. And I was like, what? Okay. I was thinking maybe we need to bring this belt with us to the bowling alley because I don't got time. But I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do that because I don't want to look ratchet. We finish up. Time to go to the bowling alley. Cool. We get to the bowling alley. I tell him, we got to stay together. And I think that day, the little one was not with us because I didn't bring him to the bowling alley. So it was just us and the 8-year-old. And I just so happened to see one of my friends there with her son. And I start talking and whatever. And I guess he didn't want to keep standing there while I was talking to my friend, which was not that long. But he just kept running off. And I was like, if you don't come back here. So I grabbed him by his little wrist and said, you need to get over here and you need to stay right here. He pulls away from me. He runs down the aisle somewhere else. So I had to cut that conversation short. I had to go run and get him. I was just like, little boy, if you don't stop right now, I'm gonna whoop your ass. And he just got his ass over there and we started bowling. But he kept trying to run down the bowling aisles and messing with all the other balls, and he was just off the chain for no reason. When I say I had to keep threatening this little boy, I'm just like, okay, I should not have to keep threatening him every 5 minutes. Every time I would bowl, he would try to run off. Every time the balls would come, he would try to put his face where the balls were. I have to get busted in the face with a bowling ball. I'm just like, you know what? This kid is a liability. I can't do this no more. I'm done. I'm not going to keep threatening little kids. And I told y'all he was heavy. So trying to pull him another aisle where their bowling balls and stuff are, trying to pull him off that little machine, he was heavy. And I didn't get paid enough to do this shit. Went home, told him, everything was good. We went to the bowling. The dad was like, well, did you? He just did this. Did you? I was like, nah, I didn't even have to. But I did. You know what? I didn't even tell them I wasn't coming back. The next day they asked me if I was coming back. I told them, I can't make it in. And then they said, well, are you going to be able to come back within the week? I said, you know what? I'm not. I can't. I'm sorry. And so that was the end of that. I quit. But I wasn't getting paid enough to be dealing with that shit. And if you like this story, make sure you put a big thumbs up on this story. Make sure you subscribe if you're not already. And make sure you share this story if it was funny. Other than that, I'll see you guys later. And